What's up? We're back.
It's been
It's-
a while.
It really hasn't,
Have we
though.
only
It's
done
been
one?
We only missed 1 week, so
But have we only done one live stream?
we've only done one live stream this
Okay.
year because normally we would have 2 because of the every other week thing, and
Yep.
it's been so on and so forth. So, as you may or may not know, thank you, Kaylee.
Thank you for
Sound is
checking.
good. We love it when Kaylee is in. She's always right on it. Tim is too, usually,
Yes.
if he's in, but I haven't seen
Missed
Tim yet.
Unofficial sound checker for sure.
Okay, so we're not going to waste a ton of time because this is a subject that I think will result in a lot of conversation
Yeah.
and engagement. But I will say that this is a topic that we decided a while ago that we wanted to talk about because it actually does come up fairly often because of a couple different things. Also, it was something that we had hoped to cover 2 weeks ago, but I actually got COVID. So, and I wasn't even that sick, but like we couldn't sit next to each other because I was trying to keep Katie from getting COVID.
Which it worked.
It did. She never got it. So, and our apartment space is fairly small.
Yeah.
So like the odds of not getting it when one person has it, I mean,
I don't know what the odds are, but
we did pretty good.
I feel like for the fact that like you've never given it to me and I've never given it to you, I feel like we should be winning more lottery tickets.
Yeah,
But,
and we do occasionally enter, but we never win.
Oh well.
So let us go ahead. Oh my goodness,
Is it clickbait?
April.
Is it clickbait?
I'm gonna address the clickbait thing really
Yes.
quickly. Don't you worry. But no, it is not clickbait. Yes. Okay. All right. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad that April joined. I haven't seen her in
know.
forever.
Hopefully
Okay.
you don't feel clickbaited.
Okay, so first and foremost, we always start out by plugging our socials. If you're not following Tim and Katie on, first of all, if you're not following us on YouTube, I have no idea where you're watching this video. Thank you very much. But you should be following on YouTube. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. But be advised that the content we cover is not always going to be Disney, hence the topic of conversation. We also have a Facebook presence, a recently added Blue Sky presence.
I was gonna say you added Blue Sky.
I'm trying to keep up with it. I'm not doing a very good job, but I do like that it's kind of like a more, it's a blank canvas right now. Like you can kind of define it any way you want. The Real Tim and Katie is our Instagram handle and our Threads handle. On Threads, we're a little bit more sassy. On Instagram, we're a little bit more visual and kind of like, if we're going to do any short form storytelling ever, it'll be on Instagram Reels. So occasionally we'll post something there. And then, of course, timandkt.net, the website, which is, as of right now, caught up.
What?
Don't read too much into that.
Okay,
We're still
it's
blog
caught
posts
up.
missing, but we are caught up to the most recent
Compared
stuff
to
we've
like
done.
the 17 we were behind on or whatever.
I still owe a couple of people that hosted us like a full-on blog post. They got the video, so like I feel like I fulfilled my obligation. But like I also have blog posts that I want to write that I haven't done yet. So I have to go back in time and write.
We do have a goal to stay better on top of the blog posts.
That is 2025's goal. I don't typically do New Year's resolutions, but that is one of mine.
Goal.
Okay, the meat of what we want to talk about tonight. Are we done vlogging Disney? Now here's the thing. I want to be very clear. We're not about the clickbait, y'all. We are not. So if you clicked on this with this question of like, are they really? First of all, the thumbnail, you can only fit so many characters in the template that I have. So it says, are you done with Disney? The answer there is no. We're not done with Disney. The real question that we had wanted to ask is, are you done vlogging Disney? And the answer to that one is a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
Yes and no. Not to clickbait, but yes. This is a whole conversation that we have to have. It's not as simple as yes or no. It has to be. It's a yes and no thing. I will provide context for all of this, but this is why we wanted to talk about it, because I think that there's a whole subculture and a whole sub-content culture around Disney. Like not just the parks and the experiences, but also like unboxings and like pins and some Kaylee I know used to do like reaction videos from like Disney content. Like there's so many different layers to this, and I feel like there is a Disney content community that we have been part of off and on pretty much since we started.
There's whole channels just on what's news at the Disney parks.
Literally.
What's food? What's food?
What's food? Do you eat? No, but like there's nuances to this. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not as simple as one thing or the other thing. So we're gonna explain ourselves, I promise. But I did want to just throw it out there so that no one feels clickbaited.
Yep.
It's about vlogging Disney, not about being done with Disney as a whole. And so we need to cover what we cover here. I do also greet Jamie and Ari, who I haven't seen in a hot minute. Thank you guys.
Wedding preparations
Wedding
are going
preparations
well.
are supposedly going quite well. So we want to wish you guys congratulations again.
Thank you for joining.
May the odds be in your favor 2025. Oh, I missed Chad and Vanessa.
Yeah,
hey, hola. I'm sorry. I'm not used to seeing so many comments fly by.
No, everyone was greeting each other.
Unless we're talking about theme park news, in which case there's a lot of people like, throwing out the hot
stuff.
Takes.
Yeah. If you missed our first live stream, we're not doing theme park news anymore. It's too much. You're welcome to drop a hot take or an update if you want us.
I would be happy to comment on anyone's comment on hot takes.
Yeah.
But I have too many of my own to do theme park news.
We're not stopping to do theme park news anymore.
Yay! Okay. All right. So let me provide some context for this before I say anything about what our new plan is. We have a history with Disney content because when we started our channel, 2020 was an interesting year for everyone. Yeah. Everyone felt kind of cut off. And at the time, I will say, like, we were really big on the Disney parks. At the time that the pandemic hit, we had planned trips to both Disneyland and Disney World in that same year, like summer and then
it was like,
I think
yeah,
early summer and late summer, I think, or spring and then late summer were our plans. And then like things kept closing and reopening, and then there were like phased openings, and then you could get into certain things and not others, and it just kind of became a whole big mess. So like, yeah, we were feeling a little bit of like the Disney craving, especially because that was like our first real theme park experience that we'd ever had, and that was our understanding of what theme parks were like or what they could be.
Yeah.
So
and it was the Disney. Oh, I guess you have.
I was literally about to move on. That. I mean, you can still say it.
I was going to say our visit to Disneyland in December 2018, kind of. I think we've talked about this before. It really ignited something in us. Like, wow, the nostalgia is real. Theme parks are so cool and they're fun and they're a passion, and that's what started us on like our journey of we want to. Look, there's a Disney theme park in Paris. There's one in Tokyo. We got to go to all these places. And then that led us to finding out about places like Phantasialand and Europa Park.
Literally, I was just thinking, like, on the plane ride back from Disneyland, like, we were Googling, like, other theme parks. And, like, that. So, I don't want to make this sound like it's, like, a hill I die on, but I feel like a lot of people didn't know about Phantasialand until after the pandemic because of everyone going on YouTube and watching other people getting out and
probably
doing
a lot
things.
of Americans. I'm sure more
that's true.
Germans and Europe.
My apologies. I know there are some European viewers that watch these vlogs after the streams after the fact, and you would
Americans
know better than we would.
who know theme parks as Disney and Universal, even though there's way more than that in America. But I feel like Disney and Universal probably take most real estate in people's brains.
Disneyland was the first like real park, real theme park that we had. We'd been to Six Flags Great Adventure
that we visited together.
Yeah. This was the one where, and I resisted it too. Like
when
we went on this trip, when we went on this trip, I didn't realize. So we were there for a conference that Katie had to go to for work, and I had just been kind of dragged along, and I was like, "Cool, California, twist my arm, why don't you?" But when we got there, I was like, "Man, Disneyland is so expensive, and we're only going to get a day out of it, and it's not going to be worth doing it." And then we got there, and you don't realize how tight and compact Anaheim is. If you're going to a conference at the Anaheim Convention Center, you are literally you can see Disneyland across the street. You can see the Incredicoaster going around.
And I think we walked down to like downtown Disney like twice before you were like, all right, we're going.
And look, the system works, right? It's engineered to make you be like, if you just step inside those gates, everything is going to be fine.
In 2018, a day ticket to Disneyland
was
cheaper. It wasn't inexpensive, but it was not what it is now.
Yeah.
And you could get the Max Pass on your phone for I think $10.
We're literally on the same wavelength.
And you
I was
could
about to say this too.
Yeah, and you could still use regular Fast Pass for free.
Yeah.
So,
but because the Max Pass at the time was a paid alternative to the Fast Pass that everyone else got for free, it worked so much better.
Yeah.
Because no one was paying for it.
Yeah. And
so that's why when they released the Genie Plus and then it subsequently became Multipass, like that's why I don't feel like it works very well, because now nobody has any alternatives and everyone does it.
Yeah.
So now all the queue lines are clogged.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a whole separate issue. We could do a whole live stream on just that. The point is, like, we went to Disneyland, we had this spark inside us, and when COVID hit, around the same time that our channel started, like, we had a passion for the Disney parks.
Yep.
The Disney parks have evolved since then, so that's part of
Disney content creation.
And so have we.
Evolved. Yes,
yeah, like, we have also evolved. That's part of it.
I was Pikachu, now I'm Raichu.
I guess in the most literal sense, yes. I don't want you to miss this comment from Daly that says,
thank you for the confidence boost. not feeling
and
like
April
it.
says, we look super young. How, let's see, 2018.
We were
7 years ago.
7 years ago, yeah.
So we've been at YouTube for 5 years, but we've been at theme parks for 7.
Yeah.
Which it makes sense that we're changing a little bit. It's almost a decade.
My
Doesn't feel like it.
Is
but
a different color now, and I'm not talking about the purple.
So when we started our channel and when we started vlogging, we did a lot of stuff. We did a lot of Hershey Park. We did a lot of Six Flags. And I think there was the first time we did Busch Gardens was in 2021. Mm-hmm. But we also did Disney content because that was the content that we were passionate about.
Disney World opened back up in the summer.
It was the easy place to go to and get content.
Yeah,
too.
we could go. So we went back to Disney World in October of 2020.
This is from that trip.
This is that trip. And we vlogged there for the first time.
You can't tell quite how young we are or aren't because of the masks, but we are a little bit older than we were. Right. So yeah, I mean, 2020 was a weird year for a lot of reasons, but it was the year a lot of people decided to start vlogging.
Yeah.
I think a lot of content creators, especially in our circle, all started around that same time.
And speaking of that circle, we started joining, or you really started joining, I guess it was mostly Disney content
everyone in the
groups.
chat right now is from the same group.
So that's what I was thinking. Like everyone, all the people we started meeting through mostly the Disney content creation.
Mm-hmm.
That's who's here. It looks like in the room with us
because the Disney content creation, even then, and it was a lot less competitive then than it is now. But even then, because Disney content kind of got buried because there are a lot of Central Florida vloggers and even California vloggers that had been doing this a lot longer and quite frankly a lot better than most of us can ever hope to do.
Yeah.
There were little support groups on Facebook to like get your content seen. And so I joined one of them on behalf of the channel and started networking with people in that community and sharing content. And there was even like a watch chain where like people would go in and watch each other's content. You like pick 5, and that's still active, by the way. And anyone who is a Disney content creator on this list, if you're not already part of this group, which a lot of the people in the comments I know already are, but if you're not a part of those groups, I highly recommend it. They're incredibly supportive groups still to this day. And I attribute a lot of our initial growth to the people and the channels and the content creators that we met in the Disney YouTubers group.
Absolutely.
So that was a big part of our initial kick as well, which honestly, like, I feel a little guilty, like moving away from Disney content now because of that more humble start, but we'll get to it. So why quit in air quotes now? We're not quitting all Disney content. I think we're done with Disney World content.
Yeah.
There are a couple of things that I think are exceptions to the rule. If we have like a really unique experience, like the Wild Africa trek is something that, you know, most people don't get a chance to do because it's expensive or because it's just like it's a long commitment and some people don't want to do it on their vacation. So even though that vlog did awful, just abysmally bad, I'm glad we made it, and we have those memories, and we'll
Yeah.
hold on to those memories even if no one ever sees it. So I would say for things like that, like we might still bust out a camera and try to shoot some. I will also say like there's some POVs at Disney World that are, you know, I think I kind of challenge myself sometimes with the POV content. Like I've already shot some POVs that I go back and shoot again because I'm like, I got a new camera, I want to test things out. And while I'm testing things out, why not create good content? So the POVs, like the roller coaster POVs and the dark ride POVs, I think we might still get some of those at Disney occasionally, because I never travel without a camera anyway. But for the most part, I will say I don't think we're going to be doing Disney World content anymore.
Yeah. The day in the park vlogs are probably dead.
Yes. Not because all of them were bad,
No.
or because we didn't, you know, enjoy shooting the content. It's just there's not much. I mean, we'll go into the whole list of reasons.
I'm pretty sure
this,
we
but-
actually have a pretty comprehensive list.
Zoe, what's up?
Hi, Zoe. Oh, look.
Oh,
They said they're 5. Yeah, I knew we were close. Ours is
ours
June.
is in June.
Yeah.
Technically, the first vlog we shot was on January 1st,
Right.
2020, but we didn't edit and post it until June, so it doesn't count.
Oh, do you put
Oh,
POVs
nice.
on? That's cute.
Well, you can
You're
use
such a good
all of
teacher,
ours.
I want to be a kid in your class.
I will also say for Kaylee's sadness that we're not cutting Disneyland out.
Yeah.
And there are plans eventually to go to like the international parks like Disneyland Paris and goodness, I almost said Euro Disney, which is the same thing. Tokyo Disneyland, Hong Kong Disneyland, Shanghai maybe someday. Those are obviously a bit further away. But Disney World, which is our
Closest.
Disney property,
Yeah.
which means we're not going to be getting to the other places very frequently. The Disney World content, I think, is going to go away. So back to the question of why quit now. I have a long list of reasons, and you guys may
Let me count the ways.
you may agree or you may disagree with these reasons, but these are our reasons. Sometimes, as much as I know we get a lot of support from the people in the Disney YouTubers group and from the people in this chat, we love each and every
This
one of
has
you.
nothing to do with you.
Do not take this the wrong way. We love all of you, and we would never think of you as competition.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of competition in the Disney content creator community. And I think a lot of it, I put unhealthy because there is such a thing as healthy competition. And this is not it. The Disney content is the big league creators like Tim Tracker and Super Enthused, Adam the Woo, like people who do content at Disney all the time. You're never going to displace them. And we never set out to do that.
We would.
But there are also times when everyone goes, like, think of like the Epcot opening day of a festival. Like, we probably won't make it out to opening day of an Epcot festival ever just because of how far away we are from the property. So then you get to Epcot 2 weeks in, you shoot what you shoot, you're really proud of it, you put it out there, you put a lot of hard work into it, it gets 3 views because everyone's already seen what there is to see. Yeah. And
5 times over because we all follow more than one person.
Right,
doing
and
the same
it's
thing.
nobody's fault. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Like, I fully support like the people who want to get out there and do that, but that's not my scene. It's not
Yeah.
Katie's scene. We're introverts. We don't love doing like the big crowd opening day momentum. With rare exception, there are exceptions, but for Disney stuff, I feel like the competition, the level of stress and anxiety that you have to put up with to get out there and do that on opening day to be seen, it's just not for us. And it's stressful to think about like one of two things. Either you do it immediately and you push it out as quickly as possible and you burn the candle at both ends to get it done, or you accept that your vlog isn't going to be seen by anybody and that you're just doing it to do it and have content. And that's a little bit depressing in and of itself. Like, in as much as we don't do it for the views or for the subscribers or for the revenue, like it's still like you want your content to be seen.
Yeah.
So it winds up not being healthy competition. Same token, oversaturated niche. When we started, I think the number of Disney YouTubers was a great deal smaller. I don't have an exact figure.
No.
I did some homework before this live stream, and now currently I think we're looking at over 50,000 Disney specific content creators. Now, not all of those people are parks creators.
Yep.
Not all of those people are movie creators or unboxing, but within the Disney niche, it's really, really, really hard to stand out. And again, it's not that we feel like we need to, or that we want the spotlight necessarily, but like you put a lot of time and energy into your content, especially when it's experience vlog content that like you spend an entire day shooting and then probably more than a day editing in my case. I don't have to be that perfectionistic about it, but I am. And then it doesn't get seen. Like it feels like you've put a whole lot of time and energy into something that didn't pan out. And it's tiring. So the oversaturation is a problem. Hustle culture is more of the same as well. I feel like because of the first two things and knowing the way that the Disney content works, you feel especially exceptionally driven to like get out there first and do it all first and push yourself to stay up late until 3 a.m. editing. And the people who do that and enjoy it, I have nothing but love for you guys. Yep. And we follow a lot of them. So like, I know there are some out there that do a really good job of that and feel fulfilled by that. For me, because this is never going to be a full-time job. This is a passion that we have, but it's not what we do for money. It does feel like you come back from every vacation exhausted if you try to hustle to keep up with everyone. Yeah. So, not worth it. There's more!
But wait,
there's more.
This is the one I think that...
This is killing us now.
It's so killing us.
This is hurting us literally right now.
The changes are happening so rapidly, and sometimes the changes are better. But like, we film, a video on, using Genie Plus, and the next day it's going away. Or it's announced a week later, it's going away, and by the time we release that video, it's like, well, this is irrelevant now.
Yeah.
Or we do the
I don't know what you're going to say, so I can't help you.
Single rider line.
Oh, that came back in time to still be valid.
But
so that,
it may not.
But it was very iffy on whether or not it would be.
So like half the time we're seeing stuff that it's like, oh, this might not even matter anymore. I mean, we went to Hollywood Studios this summer and did Muppet Vision, and
we had no idea it would be the last time.
Had no idea it would be the last time.
Because that's how quickly things change. I will say I follow a lot of Disney creators, not probably as many as a lot of people do, but I follow enough creators to know that there is content that is evergreen in a way, just because like people enjoy watching that creator. People enjoy getting that creator's take. It doesn't matter if you filmed it in December and you're posting it now, as long as what you're doing is reflective of you as a person on the channel. And I wish we could say that we were those people. But the reality is that when it comes to Disney content, we're not. Yeah. People don't go to us to watch our takes on things. And so the short relevancy window is really a problem, because if you're not out there doing it first, like if you're not there on the first day of the Epcot Festival, no one cares. But this isn't exclusively for like special event offerings or for like big time massive attraction changes. It's a recurring thing. I don't think I've ever posted a Disney vlog that had dining in it, where whatever we ate that day isn't already gone off the menu. Yeah. Like I can list, the Disneyland stuff that we're posting right now, half the stuff is gone. It's already gone off the menu. And while I appreciate that Disney is nothing if not adaptable, I low-key don't appreciate how rapidly things change around there, because they thrive on that hustle culture at Disney. Like they really want to push you to like get out and experience this before it's gone.
Before it's gone, yeah.
And so we all do, and every single one of us has experienced something at Disney that's not there anymore. But at the same time, I feel like that window is way too short. Like if you go to Disney and you eat something and then you recommend it to someone for their trip 3 months from now, I think they should be able to try it. Yeah. I think that's just like common sense, and word of mouth only works if what you're mouthing is still there when the word gets out.
What you're mouthing.
What you're mouthing.
I mouth my food.
R.I.P. Again, could be here all night. So sad. Just doing that. That's a hard one. I love Muppets. It's also the last thing that Jim Henson ever worked on, which hurts. It hurts.
It hurts the most.
Also, Rizzo the Rat is hardly anywhere anymore,
Yeah.
and I am suffering. Anyway, copyright issues. This is one I think every Disney content creator is going to be familiar with. So, being monetized or not monetized on YouTube, either way, it's not the end of the world. One particular video that gets a copyright claim, and claim is not the same as a strike for those who don't know. Claim just means that your revenue is disabled or that it's going to somebody else. A strike is when YouTube or the powers that be feel that you're maliciously creating content to rip someone else off, in which case they give you a strike, 3 strikes and you're out. Claims happen all the time. There's a couple claims on our channel, mostly because like I rushed an edit and couldn't figure out how to get something out of it in time, and I just didn't care. But a lot of the stuff that is claimed is Disney content. Disney is by far the most aggressive of copyright claimants, and it's not the stuff you would think. It's not like the songs that they write specifically for fireworks, although I have been dinged on that before.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's also like ride soundtracks, and like, how are you going to show someone what the experience is like, especially in a park where on-ride photography and videography, as long as you don't have a flash, is pretty much implicitly allowed on everything. How are you going to share that experience with anyone without leaving at least a small chunk of the ride experience in the video? You get dinged a lot in our shoes. So it's just frustrating more than anything. It's not a deal breaker for me, but it is something that like, I do think sometimes like if we weren't doing Disney content, we wouldn't have this problem. And I'm correct. If we weren't doing the Disney content, we wouldn't have nearly as many claims. So I'm definitely erring on the side of, well, this is a silver, it's not a reason, but it is a silver lining to moving away from the Disney content.
This is a big one.
This is an easy one.
This
too.
is a no-brainer. We
can talk
don't
about it.
live in Florida, so even like trying to be there for opening things or
We
whatnot
certainly don't live in California.
And we don't live in California. We don't live near a Disney park. It's expensive to get to either one. It's there, and the costs keep rising. Like there's really no there's no end in sight. I think I saw an article that was like Disney worried about that. I think you sent it to me. Disney worried about the cost for the rising cost of vacations, and it's like, so what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, I was like, there's an easy with that problem. It is. We are at a tipping point economically where Disney vacations are. It's a serious financial commitment. I won't give you specific numbers, but I will tell you that when Kaylee and Katie and I went on our California trip last October, which are the vlogs that we're releasing now. Funny that we put this live stream out in the middle of that vlog series, right? I thought that would be cute. When we went on that trip, you will find out in a future vlog that we stayed at the Disneyland Hotel the entire time we were there, because that was practical. Because the last time we did it, we changed hotels 3 times, and that was logistically a nightmare. So we decided to splurge a little and make it a little easier for us. Well, that's the thing. When we say a little, a Disney splurge is incomparable to any other kind of splurge.
For the record,
we went to Europe for less than it cost us to stay at the Disneyland Hotel for a week and a half.
Yes. You don't have to stay at the Disneyland Hotel
to
visit Disneyland.
You don't.
It's fun, but you don't have to stay there. Yes. Lots of dollar bills. So many dollar bills.
Yeah, Walt Disney World is giving free dining when it's too hot and no one wants to eat. You know what else Disney is doing is giving you free access to either of their water parks on the day you check in when you're tired and they know you won't go.
Yeah.
These are perks that on paper sound really good, but aren't. Especially when you are flying in from out of state or, God forbid, out of country. And all these perks just kind of like gently start adding up. And Disney's really, really good at finding the price point that is just tolerable enough. But I got to tell you, when we're at Disney, we feel like every cent has been worth it. When we
Yeah.
leave Disney is when we're like,
Uh,
oh, God. It's not sustainable, especially as out-of-staters. That having been said, I did post a reel on Instagram where I went to Disney World for a day. And it was,
where's your
it was really
pin?
fun. Oh, I have it.
4 parks one
4 parks one day. I didn't vlog it. I was with a friend, but it was a fun little exercise in what's possible if you just believe. And throw
And
hundreds
don't
of dollars
sleep.
at the problem. Yeah, we didn't really sleep. That's also where I got COVID. Fun fact.
Thanks, Florida.
Okay, this is a personal one, and it's a little bit sad. And I know that as there are other Disney content creators in the chat, you guys might have something to say about this. I don't know if I'm the only one who ever goes looking on forums or reads news articles about Disney banning vloggers or Disney cracking down on on-ride filming or all of those things, but they affect our industry. So like whenever they come up, like I do take a look at them. And what hurts me is not the policies, because I think the policies are very sensible. What hurts me is the comments on those posts, because when you scroll down, what a lot of people's sentiment on the matter is ban all vloggers, they're ruining the parks. And whether or not people are saying that to our faces, that is kind of the sentiment when we're rolling around the park filming everything. I do get it. Like if you're paying a lot for vacation, like you don't want someone prioritizing their content, getting in line in front of or behind you. I understand. And it's partly because I understand that I feel like a little bit off about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something about Disney. It's the Disney bubble. And I think it has a lot to do with how much you're paying to be there.
Yeah, I think there is that sense of like entitlement. I think of entitlement.
It's not exclusively there is some entitlement, but it's not exclusively entitlement.
It can be an entitlement, or it can be I paid so much to be here, absolutely nothing can go wrong. And I get that too. And I also understand like people may not want their kids' faces online and whatnot, and I think that is valid.
Yeah, and we talked about this when we were talking about we did a live stream about filming in theme parks. Like there's times when you can't avoid capturing peripheral footage, and what we consider to be peripheral footage is when you're walking and talking and someone walks behind you, or when you're shooting a roller coaster and there are people on the roller coaster. Like you're gonna catch other people in your shots. And for the record, Disney tells everyone that when you enter the property, there's always a big banner saying like you're being videoed. They don't specify that you might be videoed by other guests, but it happens. And the reason that they have that blanket statement is because they know that it happens and it's unavoidable. We try to avoid it. We really do. But there are times when we're going to catch people in our shots. And I can think of only one, honestly, like for us, only one time. But I can think of a time off the top of my head where someone was like, ugh, you're filming? Really?
Oh, that's happened more than once. Remember when we were walking through and someone's like, what do you use, Adobe or whatever?
That's not what they said. You edited that heavily.
Yeah.
There were much more colorful words used. Which is saying something about, like, first of all, don't use that language at Disney.
Yeah.
I use that language in my private time. I don't use it at Disney. But also, like, it's just saying something about, like, the guest sentiment toward vloggers and content creators. And I do understand some of it. I do. I'm behind the idea that, like, your vacation is your vacation. And to some extent, you chose to have it at Disney, meaning that you chose to submit yourself to potentially being caught on camera. But
and
also,
to be surrounded by thousands of people all day.
But also, it's not fun to walk around and get, like...
heckled.
Yeah, kind of like, or over the shoulder, like, ugh, looks. Like, it's not fun to shoot content that way.
And I think Mitch's comment here is important.
This one or this one?
Well, the one about having a spouse getting that sweet discount is also is relevant.
This
Love
is the
Devin.
one. Yeah.
Yes, I agree that there is also a problem. We also don't like being associated with the vloggers that are not considerate, and we don't like people assuming that we are.
That's the thing, because
that persuasion as well.
There is. I'm gonna turn up brightness because I feel like
turn up the brightness.
I feel like I'm sitting in the dark. There we go. that there is a class of content creator, and I'm not naming names,
Nope.
but everyone has seen a couple of TikToks or shorts or whatever that is just guests misbehaving for the sake of going viral.
Yes.
And I feel like one bad apple spoils the bunch. Like, we're all, because we're carrying cameras around at Disney, we are all thought of as being that vlogger until we're proven to be considerate. And most of these people will never see us again and will never know that we're not that vlogger. So they'll just treat us like that vlogger for the day.
Yep.
And that's not fun. So it's a big component for me personally as an anxious introvert about why I don't love doing Disney content anymore. Yeah. Agreed.
Kaylee was there.
Oh yeah, it was 2 Kaylee.
Oh.
You don't remember this at all.
No, I think there was another time when someone, I think it's been more, there's been more than one occasion where someone's like called out at you for having a camera in your hand and using
At
it.
Disney?
Yeah.
I can only remember those 2, but
Oh.
I believe you that there were more. All right. This is a big one for us personally.
Yep.
We have changed as a channel, as content creators. Our audience has changed since we first got started. I will say that talking about like how we started in our humble beginnings and all that, Disney content made a lot more sense when we were pretty much exclusively theme park vloggers. That is also an oversaturated niche now.
Yep.
It's also an expensive niche. It's something that we don't have time or money to do as often as we'd like. It will always be a part of the channel.
Yeah, we still love theme parks.
We've got a lot of trip announcements to go later this year.
Yep.
And we're super excited to tell you about them, but it won't happen tonight.
Not tonight.
But there are theme parks on that list that we have not been to before. So theme parks will always be a part of our vlogs, but our channel is not exclusively theme parks anymore. I would say probably 45 to 55% of our audience is from haunts. A good chunk is from travel and resort tours. Theme parks still have a smallish percentage of our base, and
Disney of that percentage
is much smaller. Yeah, the Disney is much smaller.
I think you guys are our Disney audience.
Pretty much. I think the people that want to see the Disney content from us are on this live stream right now.
Yep.
So we love you guys,
Thank you.
and it will not forever go away, but the Disney World stuff probably gone.
Yeah.
For the most part. But
yeah. They just, our videos, like Tim works.
Mitch sees this as an opportunity.
I mean, I'm down for that too, Mitch. I'm down for that too. You just had to bring up Epic Universe.
This is the thing. Because this is one of the things that we talked about when we said we were done with Disney content. It's like, well, what about Universal? So I haven't vlogged Universal in some time.
Yeah.
Mostly because in addition to having all the same problems that Disney does,
you can't
film on rides. So, and I respect that.
Yep, we're fine with that.
P.S. We do not support channels that shoot unsanctioned POVs. We try not to be that channel. If we're told to put something away because the rules aren't clear, we do, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
But at Universal, it is widely known that you cannot film on ride at any attraction. There are a couple exceptions, but for the most part, those are the rules. Epic Universe, for sure, going to be that way forever. They're not going to let you take cameras on anything unless you are a Universal sanctioned vlogger. Epic Universe, while I think it is going to be very exciting and we are excited to visit, by the time we go, because we're not going this year, spoiler alert, not happening.
Yeah.
By the time we go, I don't know if there's going to be any point to our vlog. I might do it just to do it, like to vlog it, because it'll be new to us and everything you see will be our first time reaction, which is, you can't replicate that. It's impossible to get back. So I might film that vlog just because, but after that, I don't see us doing any filming at Universal either. It's fun to go. It really is. And again, Universal Hollywood, completely different experience, much less saturated. Typically, our California content does a little bit better, so we will shoot over there. And we have a very special vlog from Universal coming not that long from now.
Can't wait to relive that day.
But yeah, I think Epic goes into the same category as Disney for us. Sorry to say, but
I mean, it is tough that, because I know Tim puts like 110% effort into every single video he makes.
Not everyone.
but
most of that.
at least 90% effort. You're putting in so much, and then to have like the video come out and like get 5% of the views that the last like
haunt blog.
haunt video did. It is
Our
kind of
haunt
like
vlogs usually do pretty well as compared, and some of our theme park content does pretty well.
Yeah.
Our Efteling stuff, our overseas, which I would consider travel content just as much as theme park content. Like some of that stuff does really well. But the theme park stuff, particularly Disney, this is not a brag, and I don't want it to sound like one, but we're at the point where our content it has like a threshold. And if a video gets less than 200 views, that for us is a bit of a bomb, because 200 views is about the shelf that most of our videos do. And again, views aren't everything. Yep. Subscribers aren't everything.
Nope.
But these metrics all point to this is not the kind of content that your audience likes.
Yeah.
And so taking that into consideration, okay, if it's not sparking joy and the audience doesn't get joy from it, why are we doing it?
Not to say we still won't vlog things that not necessarily won't do well, but I think, that was a perfect transition into just the
sparking joy,
waning enthusiasm,
lacking of sparking joy.
It's, if anyone has been to
this is actually a good question from Mitch. The thing that you picked is not a good thing, but there's other things.
Remember, he's afraid of water.
I'm not afraid of water. I'm afraid of being under it. But Central Florida, there's a lot to do in Central Florida that I think gets overlooked and overshadowed because of Universal and Disney. Like our SeaWorld content does okay, but SeaWorld is a really fun park to visit, and we have a blast going there. We have fun going to Disney and Universal too. I don't want to make it sound like we don't, but like creating content at SeaWorld is still fun. We've never been to Legoland. I know JVH from JVH Adventures has been trying to get us there for a while, and we are super excited to visit someday. Icon Park, which I know Mitch and Devin have been to, is a big on the to-do list for us that we just keep missing out on. I'm trying to think what else. Fun Spots, Old Town Kissimmee, all these places basically inside the Disney bubble that we've never visited because we spend too much time at Disney. And I just feel like there's more out there that I want to see and do, even in Florida.
I like how Mitch was like, come do this like nature thing, and you're like, yeah, about that. Here's like 12 other things to do.
I will do a nature thing. I will do a nature thing, but I will also say, like, the kind of nature that's being pitched in this particular summary.
I'll do it. Strap a GoPro on my chest.
Yeah, it'll just be a Katie vlog.
Sure. I want to go to the manatee.
Now, if y'all want to see Disney content just constantly, Mouse Fives has got your back. Like, they are good at what they do. We are so glad to see you guys. Nice to hear from you.
Down for visiting Florida's nature.
Gatorland is also another one, by the way, that like, I would do a Gator tour, but Gatorland is a place that I went to as like a kid and then never again. And I wouldn't mind going back and seeing how much it's changed.
I feel like that could be a sign there, like the place you went to as a kid and never again.
I feel like that would be irresponsible branding.
I want to say this because I keep forgetting to say it, but I want to go to the manatee. The manatee.
That
I can't.
Now,
it's not reservation.
To go back to this,
what is it called? Conservation. With regard
to manatees, is that a kayak thing, Mitch? You would know because you guys have done the manatees. I want to know. I think Zoe has too.
I think you just like you can observe them without being in a boat. I don't think you have to be in a boat.
You don't have to be in a boat?
I don't know. Our sexy tour guide bitch will tell us.
Blue Springs.
Yeah, I think that might be.
That might be it.
Yeah. Because there's one where they just live there, and I think there's one that's like an actual, like...
You can walk on a dock.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen that in like a reel or something.
I mean, I'd be down to go see manatees. I do agree with April that it is hot. It is hot and it's muggy, and there's a lot of what I like to do nature-wise is like waterfalls and mountain climbing and whatnot. It's difficult to find those things in Florida.
Mountains or waterfalls in Florida.
But there's still stuff that... I do like biomes. Like, I like seeing the world and seeing different things. And
I do think there's a, I mean, it is a swamp.
Literally the whole state is
but
swamp.
I think
yes.
there is non-theme park things to see and do and enjoy in Florida. I mean, I remember going to some sort of natural springs with like my family that's down there. That was really fun. And even though like there was a springs part that was definitely like kind of pay. Sorry, I started reading. I mean, I'm fine with that.
Mitch,
Save a life.
can I see you outside for a minute? Oh, those sound like just a chain of events that everything is bad. Like every single thing is bad.
So, with regard to our, waning enthusiasm for Walt Disney World, I think like it's not to say that we'll never be back, because there's still things we really do enjoy. But
and we're Disney Vacation Club members too. Like we're not throwing that away.
Yeah,
we're still using those points.
It can be stressful vacationing there and tiring. I think there's some of the creative changes that have been made recently have struck a nerve. And Muppets made us not too happy, not thrilled about Muppets, not thrilled about Rivers of America being demolished. Not a fan. And I've always said, like, I know we've always said like we got to roll with the changes and whatnot. But
I mean, we don't want to be like the
we don't want to be like
the old grumpy get off my lawn type.
Yeah.
Like I think that Disney as a whole, but especially Disney World, I think that they are leaning more often now into what's viral and trendy as opposed to what the company was built on, which is nostalgia. Yeah. The original park, Disneyland, it's original for a reason, and it's a blanket original. It's everything. When Walt built it was his own concept. There were a couple nods to his IPs from the Disney studios, but for the most part, the attractions were unique and they were their own things. And so people grew up on that.
Yeah.
And people like us look back on the things that we used to do, and we like that when we go to Disney, it's a safe space where like time stood still, and some of the things that you really loved as a kid, you get to enjoy again as an adult. But nowadays, like a lot of that stuff is going away. Like a lot of the stuff that, I mean, who remembers the Honey, I Shrunk Our Kids playground? I have like a vivid memory of sliding down like a roll of film, and that was like a staple of my childhood. From one time when I went to Disney World, I remember that like vividly. And I feel like it's sad that like some of that stuff that's been there forever, I do understand like progress is progress, and we have to like pave over some things to make way for new dreams. But also they have so much space. They have so much space to expand at Disney World versus Disneyland.
Think that we're really like I think every time they tear down a play area, it is such a disservice.
It's true.
It's a disservice to kids, to parents. Like a well-themed park or play area is one of the greatest things in a theme park. One, because there's usually no line to get in. It's an attraction. You can walk right up and start using it. Gives your, it lets, mom, dad, grandma, whatever, you still have to watch your kids. It's not like you can just leave them there, but you can maybe get off your feet.
Just tie the leash to a pole and
get off your feet for a little bit. It's some of the greatest theming is in those areas. Like I'm thinking like the what is it called? The Redwood area and like the California
Redwood
Adventure.
Creek Challenge Trail.
Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. We love the
but again, this is part of why Disneyland stays in the running and why Disney World doesn't.
Like every time they're tearing down a new play area, I get sad. I get a little sad.
And this is a perfect segue to the final reason on our list, which is more of a composite of every other reason than it is a reason by itself. But we don't have a ton of fun making.
It's not
Disney
really
World
fun
content.
vlogging there.
And if it's not fun for us as creators and the vlogs don't do well, there's no point to making them.
There have been times where I was so stressed or so hot or so tired, and the camera's pointed at me and I can see it on my face. I'm like, I look like I'm about to like
That happens at
murder
Disneyland
someone.
too.
Yeah, but
you have a bit
I
of
think
RBF sometimes after a long day.
Yeah, and I didn't feel like that at Disneyland. At
No.
Disney World, it's hot. You're like you're trying to go through the day, and you start out with your cute little outfit on, and by the end of the night, you're like, I hate it here.
God bless
I hate
anyone
me.
who stays cute the entire
I know.
day. I have such envy.
I'm like, did my hair, put the anti-humidity gel in it, everything will be fine. No, hair's up, ears are off. Sunburn has happened despite the sunscreen. Everything's horrible, and that's the end of the vlog.
But there are people. I mean, Mouse Vibe's a perfect example because now, granted, they're at Disneyland more often than they're at Disney World because they're California based. But they do a tremendous job pumping out the Disney content, and they look cute throughout.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
I don't have those jeans. I have the cute for 2 hours jeans, and then they go away.
So we kind of answered this along the way. Will we still visit Disney World? Yes. This is not a goodbye to Walt Disney World as a property.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we have Disney Vacation Club membership. Those points allow us to stay on Disney property ostensibly for free, although we're paying monthly for it. So
and our
not
points
really.
go the farthest in Walt Disney World.
They
we
do.
can use them in Disneyland, but
it's competitive.
It's competitive. There's not enough rooms, and the points, like your points, do not go very far. Trying to stay at Grand Californian versus, Saratoga Springs.
Yeah, and also like we've had good times at Disney World.
I really enjoyed our trip that was meant to be something else that turned into kind of a last minute Disney trip. Was really fun.
Yeah, Disney was a consolation prize last year, but we had fun.
It was fun.
But I will say, like, this is something that I thought about when putting this live stream together, was the fact that we had planned to shoot 2 more vlogs on that trip than we actually shot.
Yeah.
Because there was one day, Magic Kingdom, when we got to the park and I realized, like, I left the primary camera. I had other cameras. We could have shot something. We could have done it on our phones, whatever. But at the first obstacle, when I was like, we left our primary shooter, I was like, nah, I'm just not going to vlog. And we had a fun day. We did. We had a great day,
I'm pretty sure that's why I was smiling so much in that picture.
Because
that was the no vlog day. Look at the energy I have.
Katie gets a little tired of vlogging sometimes.
I
especially when we do it like 7 days in a row.
It's me.
It's you. Hi. Oh, we went 2 different directions with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we will go to Walt Disney World. And we have, obviously, the chat being a perfect example. We have a lot of friends at Disney World.
Yeah. And
either because they are Disney friends or because they happen to live near Disney World. We have family near Disney World.
Yes, we have family. We still have, there's other things, obviously, that we'd like to see and do in Florida. And sometimes if, it's adding a Disney day on or doing
Animal Kingdom and Epcot are amazing parks.
Yeah.
My top 2 easily in the East Coast.
Yeah.
On the East Coast. And so, like, when we go with the intent of, like, this trip we're going to do, let's just say, for the sake of example, we're planning a trip to go to Epic Universe, Legoland, and SeaWorld. Well, then we get there, and there's a better than average chance that even though we do not have annual passes anymore, we'll say, it sucks to be this close to Animal Kingdom and not go to Animal Kingdom. And so we'll add a Disney day on. Like, it's going to happen. We enjoy going to the parks. We just don't enjoy filming there for all the above listed reasons. Will we ever vlog at Walt Disney World again? Like I say, if there's something very unique, if there's something,
if we do a special tour,
or if we have the opportunity to see something or try something for the first time and we want to document our take on it, that might be an excuse to do something unique and special that we won't be able to do repeatedly. And in that case, like, sure, we might throw a vlog at you. But for the most part, I think we're probably done.
You still you mentioned this, but you'll still might catch like an occasional POV or something if you feel like the lighting's right, you brought the right camera, all that stuff.
That trip that I took not that long ago for a day at Disney, I did capture a couple of POVs for the sake of capturing POVs, but also because like things like Dinosaur, I wanted to try a different camera on that I'd never tried before. And I think even if it's not good, I got something kind of unique that I'm excited to share and see what people think of it. So like, yeah, there are reasons to sometimes vlog at Disney, but
if
I
we're
think
staying at a resort we think is really cool and we have a resort day, sometimes you like to do those resort vlogs.
you know, Wishing Mouse is not an inherently Disney name, so I feel like you could probably get away with it if you made your wishes other things.
Well,
it's the profile pic.
I was gonna say, if
anything,
anything, maybe just to redesign your channel graphic.
Yeah, a rebrand
something
doesn't
else.
have to mean a rename.
Yeah.
You just change your logo a little bit.
Yeah,
I think
we've actually not. There's been a couple creators who have taken the Disney specific term out of their name recently, and I think it's just showing kind of like some people like us maybe got into vlogging with primarily Disney as their canvas.
See, now you're just putting yourself in a different box, though. I think you should broaden it a little bit. Put the castle and the carnival ship in your logo and have something a little bit more diverse.
I mean, if you had the castle and then like a cruise ship, but then you took the ears off.
I've been meaning.
Then it
Oh, the
wouldn't be
ears!
as
I didn't even
Disney.
notice the ears.
It
Yeah,
wouldn't
the
be,
ears.
it wouldn't be quite as Disney. But then again, that's your mouse, so I don't know. Zoe. I think you've got. I think I can see.
Zoe could also just, because she's kind of short, like that's the mouse. Like, oh,
the mouse.
And Joffrey's coffee.
Oh, is that what you're holding? Ah, Joffrey's coffee.
Is that it?
It must be a Joffrey. Oh, it is.
Oh, it is a
It's
Joffrey's coffee.
I can see that striped label.
Shame
now.
on me. I never noticed that before. It's cute.
I haven't either. I don't think I've looked at it up close.
The person you're talking about, I'm pretty sure I know who you're talking about when you say like took the Disney out of their brand. It's more than one person, but I know exactly who you're thinking of. And I will say, like, those people, us people even, it's not like we hate Disney.
No.
And it's not like they're not enjoying their time at Disney, or that they don't. In some cases, they love Disney more than we do.
Just saying, like, maybe their canvas started out more Disney, but they've broadened.
It's the same thing, yeah. Our evolving audiences and just more of a focus on what we do and not so much where we are is probably where we're headed. And that for us could mean haunts. It could mean travel. We've got a bunch of trips booked this year that we're excited to talk about when the time comes. I'm not saying anything until all the money is paid. But looking forward to a fun time ahead.
Okay, that story.
Wandering Mouse?
No.
Wandering Mouse.
No, that one.
This one.
Accidentally changed.
Wishing Moose.
I love it.
I could see it.
You make all the big moose go, wow. I love that reference. April, you win the internet today. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, April. That's gonna...
all right.
That's gonna help me sleep tonight, that joke.
So I will also say, and as I've said previously, we're not cutting Disneyland out. We don't go to Disneyland
because we just don't go there all that
Exactly.
often.
We don't go there often enough that the content gets tiresome.
Yeah.
It still sparks joy to shoot at Disneyland. You do get sick of shooting at Disneyland too sometimes.
Yeah, but usually we're staying there like long enough that we do like 2 vlog days and the rest are fine.
I build in rest days.
We build in rest days?
It's actually the opposite. It's 2 rest days and then the rest are vlog days.
No, I meant like Disney specific vlogging.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we
not
do
a
other
whole
things
lot.
together.
And it's also not as exhausting to stay at Disneyland because you are literally, like, usually where you're staying, you're walking distance to both parks and you're not getting on enough buses
and
or
it's
driving.
not as humid,
and it's
so
not
it doesn't take it out of you all
I feel
day.
like it doesn't take it out of you, yeah.
But it is a commitment,
Yeah.
and it's a commit. The difference between Disneyland and Disney World are all the things we mentioned about like nostalgia. Disneyland thrives on nostalgia, whereas Disney World thrives on like the viral and the trendy. So Disneyland always feels more like home to us when we go back and experience it, and it's easier to shoot at home. So just in general, oh yeah, April just went to Disneyland for the first time not that long ago.
I was just thinking about that trip when we were talking, when we brought it up.
We need to have a whole debrief on what her initial thoughts were.
I was so excited for that.
I'm glad she met Loki. That would have been heartbreaking.
I know.
Also, Alani, and there was mention of potentially going to international parks somewhere in the future, which is still a plan as of now. It's something
and
that
I
we want
think
to
the
do.
international parks, there is an audience for that because people do want to know, like, oh, these people it looks like those people just went. What was their experience
Yes,
like?
but the audience is for US nobodies go to international theme park, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Not let's see what happens at Disney.
Yeah.
So there is a built-in audience, but it's a different type of audience. So I think that audience is probably more applicable to us.
And also, like, some of these places, like, sometimes we are vlogging just for us. Like, we want the memories, we want the experience, we want to remember it. And the thing is, like, we've gone to Disney World enough times that, like, I don't need my reaction necessarily to riding, well, I was gonna say riding dinosaur, but sad.
You can't really shoot your reaction to dinosaur,
like, you know what
either,
I mean?
so it
like,
doesn't really matter.
Like, it doesn't, like, I don't need to capture some of those feelings anymore, I don't think.
Yeah.
I do think that, like, our first time being there, like when it was October 2020 and we were in our masks and whatnot, that vlog still has some, like, warm fuzzies for me because we had some really nice cast member interactions. We were back there. It was a different time, certainly. But yeah.
And there are other things that inspire warm fuzzies at the Disney parks.
Yeah.
Like I flushed, I think, a vlog that I had planned to do for the Princess Breakfast on this most recent trip to Disneyland, because one, we had it before. Like we already have a vlog that actually did pretty well. And I feel like we covered it pretty well, even though I was a little bit under the weather. But two, because we got there and I was like, you know, I'm just having a wonderful time. I'm just not going to film it.
Yeah.
I just want to, like, let's just take some pictures and, like, eat really good food and, like, call it a day. And that was good enough for me. So, like, that's the other thing. The Disneyland content, while I think we will still produce it, like, there's a much higher chance that we get there and we decide not to vlog what we plan to vlog. So then there is, I think, the Magic Kingdom, where it's more regimented. Because we know exactly what we're doing, we know exactly where we're going, we know exactly what to expect from this, that, and the other thing. And I don't know, man. It's just not spark and joy anymore.
Yeah. I think maybe the revitalization we need is, all right, when we are back at the parks, all right, what does it look when you're not looking at it through the lens of a vlog or through the lens of a camera? Let's just take in the moment. We don't have, you know, we don't have to get the B-roll. We can eat the food as it sits in front of us and we don't have to shoot it.
What?
We can just eat it.
I don't know why, because I know exactly what you were talking about, but when you said we can eat the food without shooting it, I was like, we're going to have to hunt it down to eat it.
Gotta go get those Mickey beignets.
I'm so tired of hunting, literally hunting Mickey bars.
My food.
When I went to Disney for a day with my friend a couple of weeks ago, obviously I did an Instagram reel, but that was the extent of my vlogging
content
that day.
creation.
Like I did it mostly because it was a fun little challenge, and I wanted to, like, I can shoot 2-second clips all day and have something from it, and that'll be cool in and of itself. But it was also down to, like, the little moments, like at Animal Kingdom, when I wasn't filming and I was like, I need to use the bathroom. I'll meet you out front of this little shop. And she's like, okay. And I go to the bathroom and I come back and she's not there. And I'm like, hey, where are you at? And she's like, Kevin came out and I chased him down to the front of the park. And I'm like, but this is the Disney that I miss, kind of, you know, like the little impromptu magical moments that you miss when everything is regimented. Yeah. So it's been a fun time putting together content from Disney World. I'm not going to say that we'll never, ever do it again, but it's going to be a rare thing moving forward. And I think that's a statement to how we've grown as vloggers just as much as it's a statement of how the parks have changed. So that's where we're at. And right on cue. Yes, we will be at Field of Screams for Valentine's. We will be there on Friday night for any and all who are interested.
Yep. Well, that takes us to the end of our laundry list, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, that's it. To end tonight, we did want to say one thing, and that is that if you are one of those people that really loves the Disney content and is sad that we're not producing it anymore, we already plugged Mouse Vibes, who are great at producing content, especially from the West Coast, Disney content in particular, hence the mouse. But we also wanted to plug our friends Jay and Sam, who are over on the East Coast, and they are very into Disney. Yeah. I would say at this point much more so than we are, and they do a great job producing content from the parks. So if you're interested in seeing what's new, what's happening, these are the people that do the hustling and get the content first and foremost, and they're great at it. And we just wanted to shout them out because I know they work so hard to get this stuff in front of you.
They'll give you honest food reviews. They've covered, I think, several videos now on Festival of the Arts.
Very positive people like us.
Yes, very positive, but they will tell you, they'll rate it. They'll tell you what they thought.
Yeah.
So we trust we have taken their food recommendations. We've trusted them many times. And
I don't agree with all of them, but I agree with most of them.
Yes. The Wurzel is...
The Wurzel stands out and that wasn't even Disney, just to be clear. But the Wurzel, I think we just had a bad run of Wurzel.
I think we had the wrong Wurzel.
We had a bad Wurzel day. But
Chad and Vanessa know what we're talking about. Anyway, but these folks are they're crushing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe in like 10 days or so, they will be headed to Japan for what sounds like a pretty wild trip. Yeah. So expect some pretty interesting content from them soon. So if you're not following, check it out.
Instagram, YouTube is their primary. They do have a Facebook presence and a website. They also have a TikTok, but I do not have TikTok, and I'll never have it now since it's off the App Store. So I can't tell you what they produce there. I assume it's very similar to the Instagram content. But the point is, they are good people, very positive people, and they push a lot of Disney content first and foremost before most people even get out of bed in the morning to go to the Disney parks. So if you're interested in that kind of content, they've got your back.
Yes.
And I think with that, we done. I hope we haven't disappointed anyone. I really do.
I felt like we were going to ruffle some more feathers, but it seems like maybe we didn't.
Well, most of these people in the chat are our friends. Not everyone who's watching and very quiet is feeling the same way, I'm sure. Yeah. But we do appreciate y'all, whether you're commenting or whether you support this or not. We do appreciate how everyone has helped our channel grow.
We still won't watch other Disney content.
No, absolutely.
That's not.
I could plug probably eight Disney content creators right here and now if I wanted to, but it would take too long. So I'll save them for another time. We do love going to Disney. It's just creating content there that's kind of ruffled our feathers, so to speak.
Maybe.
So, more fun ahead, though. Yep. This is not an unpositive thing.
Thank you for waiting an extra 2 weeks for this riveting live stream topic.
I think we might try to ruffle more feathers for the next live stream, but
my feathers are ruffled.
Which I hope Mitch will join because I just think he's gonna have some hot takes for my hot takes.
Yeah.
Oh, April.
Oh yeah.
Get me alone in a room so that I can yell for an hour about moments. Trust me, there is rage.
Yeah.
I just try not to rage publicly.
And words that I want to use cannot be said on this live stream.
I am a hot take, Mitch says. Does that mean I'm hot or that I'm a take?
I think it means you're a hot take.
All right, I could be here all night. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Lots of fun, exciting content to come, Disney or not. Although we do have a couple more Disneyland vlogs to pump out. Two, to be precise.
But then we'll switch gears.
We will switch gears.
A couple other different things.
Call me. I have so much to say about the Fantastic Four. All right. talk to you guys later. It's been fun. I've been Tim.
I'm Katie.
And every night
is a new adventure.
And we will see you again next time.